Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bravo Tea with the Stay at Home Mom. I'm Erica, and I'm ready to talk all things Bravo. Welcome back, everybody. I am joined by a very special guest today, Jack, who runs the RHONJ Obsessed Instagram. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited.
Of course, I know. And I'm so excited to have you. And I'm so excited that we're getting our ladies back on TV.
Yeah, so excited. Way, way overdue.
I know. I feel like it was a long time. And I don't know about you, but I do like seeing them do the Jersey Shore thing and everything. But I kind of miss them filming like Christmas and wintertime. What about you?
I definitely liked the Jersey Shore for like the first season or two that they did it, but now I want the holidays again. I really want the old nostalgic vibes, and I think that's what the fans want also.
I know, because they do it big, like the big Italian Christmas. I remember
Yes.
like Teresa doing it back in the day. And remember when her mom dressed up as Santa Claus?
Oh my God, yes.
That's
Hilarious.
that's funny. My dog is joining us too. His name's Frankie.
Oh, hi,
He's
Frankie.
crashing the party.
So cute.
Oh. Well, and I feel like we waited so long for the trailer too.
We waited so long, and they released it a little earlier. I mean, thank God, but we still got almost 2 months till the premiere.
I know. So what did you think about the trailer? Like, what are your expectations for the season?
I mean, the trailer was good. It was definitely very light, but that was the vibe they were going for. I think this season is going to be totally different from last season because they went in this season. I think they might have even told the ladies they don't even want it to be that toxic as it was last season.
Right.
So I guess different vibes, different alliances. I mean, big switches, but I feel like it's good that
I
they
know.
had that.
I
Yeah.
I know now that you said that, so we gotta talk about the Jackie and Danielle. It's kind of funny. It's like they just switched group
Yeah.
pretty much.
Kind of, but I think because it's Jersey, no one's used to that. But on the other franchises, everyone, they switch friends. One's fighting with this one, that one's friends with that one. So it's kind of just like a change that I think Jersey fans aren't used to, but it happens on all the other franchises.
Right. I do agree. I feel like people like find their footing every season, or it's more like who they agree with that season.
Yeah, definitely.
I did think it was interesting though when we see it all kind of play out in real time before we get the trailer or anything. Like we
Yeah.
did see Jackie and Margaret having their tiff kind of over her whole book deal. So I'm
Yeah.
curious to hear more about that because Jackie is not like a full-time cast member, but she's a friend of. But I feel like we get her basically at every event as Jen Fessler also.
Yeah. So, I mean, the friends are pretty much at every event. They just don't have like those at home scenes alone,
Yeah.
like with their families, really. I mean, sometimes they do, but like not as much as the full
Right.
time housewives.
And then we are getting some newbies, but they weren't in the trailer. Or like I think one was at the very end. And how do you feel about new people coming on like all the time?
I mean, I love the new people. It definitely comes in to freshen up the vibe. We
Mm.
didn't see them that much in the trailer, sorry. But we did see the newbie Tiffany a couple times make little cameos in the trailer. But I'm really excited to like meet them on the show and see how much they do show of them.
Yeah.
Um, but I did hear that the three girls they came in testing for season 15, and I guess Bravo and production
Oh.
wants to see how the audience reacts to them.
I'm wondering if they added them in the mix too, because we know that Melissa and Teresa don't really talk at all. So I'm imagining we're going to see a lot of separate filming.
Yeah, they're definitely a separate filming. I wonder how it's gonna like look.
I know, which I feel like in previous seasons we have had separate filming before, but then obviously they can't avoid it too much. They'll have to have group events together. Like I think we're getting a softball game again with Dolores.
Yes. And
So they'll
then
have to be there.
Teresa was at one of Danielle's Bougie Kids events. So there was, I guess, filming together, but like they were on opposite sides of the room and
Yeah.
like no acknowledgement.
And we do see them sit all at that lunch together.
Yes, yes.
in the preview, and, Danielle was that's when she's like, "This is so comical to me because 'cause they're talking about
Yeah.
Jackie, and I'm like, "Well, you're kinda the same thing, like, she was really more friends with Teresa and Jennifer, and then now it seems like we were seeing pictures of her and Melissa a lot
Yeah.
together, which was interesting."
I mean, I'm definitely curious to see how it plays out. I mean, I'm so excited because I feel like it's going to be a different Jersey. There's no
Mhm.
Teresa and Melissa fighting. There's other people fighting. It won't be as toxic. So, I mean, I'm really excited to watch the new season.
I know, I am too. I do have to ask because I know, like, I think the answer you're gonna say, but are you team Teresa or team Melissa?
I mean, I don't know if I should answer that. I mean, of course, everyone has like their favorites, but I'm trying to be more unbiased.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my answer.
That's how I go. I feel like when it first started, I was a little more team Melissa because when she came on the show, we didn't know back then that she kind of did come on and didn't tell Teresa. And I have a
Yeah.
sister-in-law and I couldn't imagine like I wouldn't mind if she was doing the show with me, but I would mind if I found out like a day before we're filming.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know. There was a lot of things, I guess, that came up later that we did that the fans didn't know that
Mhm.
maybe it could have switched people's, positions.
Yeah, and Teresa said we're gonna see more of that this season. Like we're gonna see a more Joe and Melissa unraveling of finding out how they got on the show and all that.
Wow. Wow.
So I'm excited for that. That'll be interesting. I
Yeah, me
feel
too.
like in the trailer too, they make it seem like her and Louis are fighting, but I don't think they are. That's my opinion because I think they're happy together. I think all of her daughters would definitely not be as close with him if there was problems, but I feel like in the trailer they were setting it up and looking like when they were talking outside, they were fighting about them, but I think they were talking about something else.
I mean, they were definitely talking about something else. I don't know if you want me to spoil it. I mean, it's not like such a huge spoiler. I mean, it's been in the
Oh,
news.
maybe a spoil. That's
Um,
good.
it's about like the ex that's trying to take him down. And I'm sure that's caused a
Oh,
lot of stress in
yeah.
their marriage. I mean, who could blame them? You have someone from your past attacking you. So that's kind of what it's about. And they kind of edited it to make it look like they were having problems.
Yes, and which I feel bad for her because it seems like
Yeah.
she's in her love bubble. She finally found her true soulmate, as she says, and I feel like they try to make Louis and her look like it's a bad relationship or like he's always doing something bad.
I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, Teresa is the queen of the show. I feel like the big part of the trailer was her,
Yeah.
So
I mean, she's one of 2, we now found out, standing OGs. Her and Kyle
yeah,
Richards are the last OGs of all the franchises.
yeah. I think soon. I mean, Kyle said she may not return, but even if she does return, I think Teresa will be the longest standing housewife at some point.
I know, which will be crazy. I miss Vicky Gunnarsson because I love the OC also. Loved her on the OC. I'm
Oh, me
actually
too.
going down to Boca at the end of April to see her and Shannon
Oh, wow,
do
that's so fun.
I know, so my best friend from college lives down there, so we're gonna go together. So it's no longer the Trace Amigas, it's like duo
Yeah,
Amigas.
it's just Shannon and Vicky.
Yeah, and I just recently went to, Teresa's event with Briganti Wines.
Oh, really? How was it?
Yeah. It was fun, it was good. I had been to an event and met her, Dolores, and Dorinda before, but this one was a little more fun because it was just her, so I got to chit-chat
Oh,
a little
cool.
with just her.
That's
It was
cool. Very
fun.
cool.
She's super nice. Like, I have met Melissa before at Joe's, when he did those real estate seminars, and she was
Okay.
a little more cold, not as friendly. Like, I
Okay.
just you could tell when Teresa's meeting you, she just wants to make it a little more personal.
Yeah. I mean, I've met Teresa a bunch of times. She's always been sweet. I mean, I've met Melissa a bunch of times, and she never like really left me with a bad impression when I've met her. But yeah,
I know, and it's like everyone has, like, bad days, and it's just, like,
yeah,
tired and stuff, but I just hate I'm like, "Ugh, I've, like, waited to, like, meet you, and this is kinda,
yeah,
like, the lasting impression I'm getting from
yeah.
meeting you." But then we see Rachel Fuda and Jen Fessler go out to lunch, and she's getting very upset about their friendship, and Jen Fessler is kinda like, "I don't really know why you're getting this upset." So I feel like it's, like, more divides than we're used to seeing, like, everyone's kind of up in arms, and it really feels like there's a lot of tension with everyone.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I feel like because it's the newbies' second season, they're more comfortable. They're more, I don't know, willing to kind of like spread around, get to know everyone, and like make their own opinions. Where I guess maybe the first season, they were maybe a little more reserved because it's hard to like come into this group with so much history. I mean, the cast has been the
Yeah.
same for so many years. I mean,
I know. I
and I
always
think they
try to
did a good
think
job.
I know, I always try to think that, like, at the beginning, we saw it was, like, family, like Caroline Manzo, Jacqueline, they were all and Dina, they were all related, and then Teresa was good friends with them, and then Danielle was kind of the outsider. Like, they knew
Hmm.
Danielle, but, like, not they weren't close with her. Now
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like sometimes we get people, they don't really know anyone, so then it's like all they have is the impressions that they see people on the show. Like, now there is a fan base and they're watching the show, then they come on the show. So it would be hard because you may watch the show and say, "Oh, I'm gonna be on that group or on that side," but then you get
yeah.
on the show and it's different, I feel like.
Yeah, and then sometimes producers want you to be on a certain side,
Mhm.
which I'm not the biggest fan of. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like people should come in and make their own opinions, and so it's more organic
Yes.
than produced. I feel like that's where Housewives is going a little downhill, is because it's getting a little more produced.
Yes.
I mean, the best thing is the organic, real TV. I mean, that's what we had in the early seasons, and that's why so many
Right.
people love it.
I know, because like, I used to watch Laguna Beach and The Hills, and my soul was crushed when I found out, like, that was all totally fake.
Wow.
Now
That's,
when
I
I'm
mean, I
older and
never
I
watched.
watch it, I'm like, "Yeah, I guess that kind of is," but, like, Heidi and Spencer, they said they just really, like, upplayed all that stuff. Those fights weren't real, and that's why they're still married and happy because here we are thinking they hate each other, and, yeah, I don't like if the producers will touch all these reality shows too much. Like, we're gonna have good storylines. We don't really need anyone to poke and add. Of course, they're maybe
Yeah.
gonna tell you, like, "Hey, this person said this last week in the confessional. How do you feel?" to get them kinda fired up.
Yeah,
But
I think that's, yeah, that's, I mean, that's fine. That's not
yeah.
really whatever. They want to get their genuine reactions.
Mhm. And I feel like that's what happens. All of them say things sometimes in the confessional, and then all the women watch it and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that." That's why I feel like the reunions are so hot
Yeah.
because they watch the whole season, they see what everyone said, or then they're all on social media. That's what gets them too. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know if they're still on
Yeah.
Twitter. I don't have a Twitter, but I know that used to be the thing. They'd all tweet mean things back and forth to each other and then get on the reunion and, like, hash it out.
I mean, yeah, I feel like, I mean, I'm on Twitter. I feel like not many housewives are using it so much.
Yeah, they're
Not
all
as
doing that
much as they
thread.
used to.
The Threads I feel like is like Twitter for Instagram.
Hmm.
I don't have a Threads either.
I mean, I had it when it came out, then I deleted it because I got kind of bored of it. I'm like, let me
Yeah,
just stick to Instagram and Twitter.
I know. It's, like, too much. There's too
Yeah.
much for us to all get into.
Yeah.
But then we see, like, some positive notes. We see Antonia and Gabriella go to college. I always forget they're the same age
Yeah.
because Antonia was always, like, closer with Melania.
It's so funny because I thought that too.
I know, and, like, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's right, they're the same age," and it's funny, Antonia goes to UD in Delaware, and I'm from Delaware, so we're, like, 15 minutes from the University of
Oh,
Delaware.
wow. That's cool.
And so I'm like, "Maybe I'll see them down there."
Hmm.
One of my friends bartends down there and said she saw Joe and Melissa when they were down there for, like, the parents' weekend, like, in the fall, so maybe I'll see a sighting and I'll keep everyone updated.
Cool, cool.
But then Gabriella's going to Michigan. She's picking a colder state. Teresa's, like,
Yes.
not looking forward to visiting her in the cold.
Yes.
And then now since then, we see Melania is going to go to Tampa. She got accepted to the University of Tampa.
Yes. Yes. I'm so excited for her. I actually have one of my friends who goes to U Tampa, and I was telling her, I was like, oh, Teresa Judas's daughter is going to Tampa because my friend loves it there. So I'm
Oh
like, I'm
my
so,
gosh,
I hope
that's
my
fun.
friend ends up seeing Melania. That would be like so funny.
I know that would be funny. I know, and then they're just gonna have Audriana, like, the
Yeah.
last one to leave the nest, but I think, Gia's still kinda like she moved back,
Yeah.
and then Louis' son, I'm not sure if he lives there, but he's like we see him over there for dinner and stuff a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think he does live there.
Okay.
I mean, because I follow him on Instagram, and I think and, like, all of his stories are, like, at the house, so I'm pretty sure he does live there.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I know, I wonder where Audriana will go, or I wonder if she'll, like, continue to dance in college because I watch her. She's a phenomenal dancer,
She is.
and I used to dance and compete, so I was like, "Would have been so fun if we were the same age and I would've been at the dance competitions with Teresa."
Yeah, that would be so cute.
I know that would be fun. I'm excited to see Jen Aiden, like, still crack me up all season because I feel like she's the funny one. We saw her poke a little bit at Melissa about Joe, but that was funny. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes everyone takes offense to her jokes, but, like, she's just funny. She's entertaining to me.
Yeah, very entertaining, very funny.
And I like that her and Teresa, people used to say she kinda was just, like, jumping on the Teresa bandwagon, but I don't think so at all. Like, she definitely they have a real friendship. Like, we saw her go
Oh,
to the
for sure.
Bahamas with them. Like, they're definitely close.
For sure. And I think Jennifer, she definitely came in with her own opinions.
Yes.
And then she just, found her way to Teresa, and they've been close ever since. And
Yes.
I'm really happy for them that they were able to, like, withstand the Real Housewives, because it really does destroy, like, friendships, marriages. So they were the fact they were able to withstand that is, like, amazing.
I know, it is hard, and one person I feel like withstands it with everyone is our good old Dolores.
So
She is
yes,
like good old Switzerland because she has known Teresa and Joe since they were kids, so she's
yeah,
known Melissa for a long time too, and she's kinda like, "I don't really wanna get in the middle." I mean, I feel like she's, like, a little closer with Teresa, but she never, picks sides.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's hard for her. I'm
Yeah.
sure she doesn't want to pick sides.
I know, and I'm sure it's sad to watch it since she knew Teresa and Joe since they were young, like, how close they were, and it is sad, and I always wonder about, like, Kathy and Richie, like, they live, very close to Joe and Melissa's new house now, so I was like,
Oh,
"I wonder
really?
if they ever run into each other." I listened to an interview she did with Kim D, and she
Okay.
said they don't, have any communication with her or Teresa.
Wow.
Which is sad, like you said, I feel like a lot of people can't withstand the drama of the show. If you come on the show and you're already not in a good place, the show definitely doesn't make it any better.
Oh, yeah. It definitely didn't help when they came on and they were in, like, a rough spot.
Yeah,
I mean, and then it's hard. I guess it's hard to, like, kind of fix that on a reality show.
I know, I know. And yeah, we see the marriages fall apart. Like, I'm wondering how you feel about Margaret and Joe. They touched on that for like a second, like made it seem like they're having marital issues because we saw her ex-husband passed away. And they were just like, oh, how are you and Joe? And what do you think about that? Do you think she's kind of using that as a storyline, or do you think they really are going through a rough patch?
Um, I mean, I mean, I don't really know for sure, but obviously, but they could be going through a rough patch.
Yeah.
I do know that it was very hard for Margaret when her ex Jen passed away.
Yeah.
But I think they're definitely gonna, you know, um, come out of it, I guess, stronger. I'm trying to find the
Yeah.
word, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think they'll be fine. It could just be just a rough patch.
I know, because now we're seeing, like, the trend. A lot of people are doubting if people are having relationship issues because of Scandoval. Everyone's like,
Yeah,
"Oh, does everyone just want their Scandoval moment? Because look how it, benefited Ariana," because we're now seeing Jax and Brittany
yeah,
having marital issues, which I really, in my opinion, think they are. I don't think they're doing it for the show since they have a child, but people are like, "This is really ironic timing."
yeah.
Because they
It's
picked the cameras back up for them too.
for sure definitely ironic timing, but I do love them together, so I hope they do, like, work it out and come back.
I know, I know. I was like, obviously, Jax back in the day, we'll derail for a second and talk about this. Jax back in the day was obviously totally awful, but then I really thought he made a change, like, when his dad passed away, and he's like, "I gotta grow up sometime. This is gonna be my partner for life and they have a son, and I see him slipping back into his old ways. Now that he owns a bar and he's back on reality TV, I was
Yeah,
afraid that was gonna be the downfall, like, combination of the 2, especially being back on TV because he was a big villain on the show.
he was, and he was on House of Villains.
I know. I didn't watch that. Did you watch that?
Yeah, it was so good. I definitely recommend it.
I
It
need to
was
watch
really good.
I need to watch that. I feel like I need to watch Traitors too.
Traders is really good too.
You watch that? Ugh, see, I'm like, there's too many shows for me to keep up with.
Yeah,
I can only
there is.
watch so many, but I'm like, I do have to make time and watch that. I'm trying to think what else we should talk about. How do you feel about if you had to pick? This is a terrible question, but Rachel or Danielle, who was like your more favorite newbie?
Oh my god, that's like a tough one. I like them both like individually because they're both
Mm,
different, and they
yeah,
both, I guess, because they both, I guess, kind of added to eat both sides.
yeah.
So I don't know if I could pick between them. I think they were both great, but I think my favorite newbie of season 13 has to be Jen Fessler.
Oh my
I
god.
love her. I think she's hilarious. I think she's a tremendous find. And yeah, I think she has to be my favorite newbie.
I know. I wonder why they didn't add her in as full time because, like, I feel like she would want to be full time. It wasn't really like her choice to not be full time.
Yeah, but I think they want to go for like younger moms. I guess they're trying to maybe make Jersey younger
Yeah.
for like I guess the next generation. So I think they're hiring more young moms as full time housewives. Like Rachel's a young mom, Danielle's a young mom. She has younger kids.
Which I do
These,
love because I'm
yeah,
a young like, I'm 33. It's funny, I think Rachel's 31, so I'm like, I am older than a housewife, that's crazy, but I do like seeing them with young kids because that's me in my life, and I never wanna get away from the, like, older housewives, though, like and
yeah,
when I say older, I'm not calling them old, I'm just saying, we watched Teresa raise her kids, and now they are older, but I don't wanna get away from seeing Teresa, so
yeah,
I like that they do integrate well together, like, I feel like when they wanted to do that for New York and bring in some young ones, it was weird because, you could tell the age gap with them, if I can say.
yeah. I mean, there definitely was a lot of different age ranges in New York.
Yeah, like, Ramona was like, "I have nothing in common with Leah, like, we don't
Yeah,
do anything of the same," whereas I feel like everyone, like, meshed with Rachel and Danielle, and, like, they
yeah,
all do have stuff in common.
yeah. I think they meshed really well. But next season is good. I think they're gonna do something almost like a little revamp.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what they're gonna do. But if Teresa was to either leave or get fired, I hope she gets like a spin-off show
Yeah,
because
I would like
her
that.
family is so entertaining. And then if they even went to the Bahamas to visit Joe Judice, like that would be like amazing TV. Like I wonder why they didn't get on that yet. Like almost like a spin-off.
I know. I was like, when I saw that Jennifer Aiden and her whole family were going to the Bahamas and the girls and Louie and Teresa, I was like, "Where are the cameras? Somebody
Yeah.
bring the Bravo cameras."
Yeah, it was such a great opportunity to film it because we're having shorter episodes this season because they got no final cast strip. So
Right.
that would have been like the perfect, for an extra episode or two to throw in there, but I don't know why they didn't do it.
I know. Maybe they kinda wanted, like, private, like,
It
vacation,
could
but, like,
be.
maybe moving forward, they would, like, suggest because I always wonder if they ever suggest things like, "Hey, we're going to visit Joe, like, would you guys wanna come?"
I mean, I wonder. Who knows? Who
Mm.
knows?
I need Melania back in my life and Joe
Yes.
together because
Yes.
those are all my favorite. I love when you post all the throwback things on your Instagram when she's like, "Give me pizza, you old troll."
Yeah, I mean, she is and was the star of the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I mean, people like go crazy for those clips. That's why I keep on posting them because they're so entertaining.
I know because out of all the kids, Gabriella was always the most quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we would see Gia a lot since she was the oldest.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like it was like Gia and Melania pretty much because Melania was being funny and then Gia because she was the oldest. And then Gabrielle was kind of more quiet. And then Adriana was so young sometimes. So we just didn't
Yeah.
see much.
and then we saw her dancing.
Yeah, I know. I wonder how much we're gonna see of all of them this season because I feel like also we don't see Joe and Melissa's kids that much. Like, we'll see
No.
Antonio go to college, but, like, for the most part, it'll be, like, blips. Like, maybe
Yeah.
they don't really wanna be on the camera.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible they just don't like the filming. I mean, I feel like a lot of the kids don't love it. It's either you love it or you hate it. I feel like there's no in between.
Right, and especially, like, it's probably different for Teresa's kids, like, they
They
grew
grew,
up
yeah,
with it, and whereas, like, Jackie's kids, they came on and they were already a little older, so it's like maybe
yeah.
they were on it some, though.
Hmm.
Margaret's kids don't wanna be on it,
No, like her, I know her biological son doesn't want to, wants like a private life. He doesn't want to be on the show at all.
which is understandable,
Yeah, for sure.
especially when you're older and you have a career and stuff, like, maybe you just don't wanna be associated with it. What would you say out of all the seasons, this is a hard one, your favorite season?
Oh my God. I have to say, even though it's newer, season 10 is an amazing season. I'm gonna go with the new era. Season 10 was
Yeah,
my favorite of the new era. My old era, probably season 2.
I know, that was the table flip one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh no,
that
that was the country club.
Oh, you're right, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
season 1 was Table Flip, yes. Yeah, The Country Club, I know. I know, it's like we'll never get those moments back,
No,
and
never.
I'm happy to see that Teresa and Jacqueline are friends again.
Me too. What do you think about her being friends with Kim D again?
I was just gonna say that in the next sentence, I was gonna say, "And we see Kim D." I think it's good because I listened to her podcast, and she said that Teresa looked right in her eyes and she said, "I just wanna let you know, I did not tell them to basically have you off the show," because Kim was, like, thinking that for all this time
Yeah.
and very hurt by it, which is understandable,
Yeah, for sure.
and I think it's good, and I think, like you said, this is how people lose sight of what's real and what's on the TV, or like her and
Hmm.
Jacqueline, they were so close, and it was so heartbreaking to see that the show was pretty much breaking them up.
Yeah. And then everyone thinks, oh, it's just for publicity, just for this, just for that. You
Mhm.
know, I believe time heals all wounds and they have history. I think, what do they have?
Yeah.
More than 20 years of history?
Yeah, and you
I
could tell,
mean,
like, they were all,
yeah.
like, so close when they would go into Posh, and her and Jacqueline would try on the clothes with Kim,
Yeah.
and when you're hurt, you say mean things, like, I know they both said terrible mean things, so I
Yeah.
feel like that's why people are like, "Oh, are you really making up for real? Like, look at all this mean stuff you said to each other," but you can tell they're like that, like, little hot-headed Italians. I
Yeah.
can attest to being one of them. Sometimes, like, we just are very hurt, so that's how they shield it and say mean things.
Yeah, and I'm happy they made up, and I hope Kim D makes an appearance next season or is even invited to the reunion. I mean, they had Kathy Hilton at the reunion, and she wasn't in the season.
Yeah, that was
So,
weird.
yeah,
I
but
mean, I love Kathy Hilton, so I
me
was like,
too.
"Yes, can't wait," and I hope she's on next season since she's talking to Kyle again, but yeah,
Yeah,
that was a little strange they brought her on for the reunion.
yeah. So it's like, why not Kim D? I mean, everyone would love that. The ratings would go through the roof.
I know,
That
and
Kim
how
D at
would
the
you
reunion.
feel about Danielle coming back or making, like, an appearance?
I would love it. I mean, I don't agree with the stuff she did in season 10, but
Mhm.
she was amazing TV. I don't think
Yeah.
anyone could doubt that. Love her or hate her, she was amazing TV,
Yes.
like an entertainer, a showman, like Erica would say. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, she was great.
I know, because she was on Instagram, like, a week ago, and I saw her on her stories, and she said if she was asked, she would gladly come back because she'd love to clear up issues between sister-in-laws. So we know she's
Yeah.
talking about Teresa and Melissa, but
Hmm.
I wonder if, like, Bravo wants to go down that road because I feel like this season we're gonna get away a little bit from that, and they'll be like, "Ugh, do we wanna go back to that?" Because a lot of people don't mind seeing it, but a lot of people are like, "Alright, we're over, like, Melissa and Teresa fighting."
Yeah. I mean, I think Danielle burned her bridge with Bravo because, I mean, after she got off the show or if she was fired or whatever it was, she brought up all these things about Andy and trashing Bravo, and then watching the show, trashing the show. So I don't think it would look great for them if they brought Danielle back. So in my opinion, even though I would love to see her, she burned her
Mhm.
bridge with Bravo.
I know, we see a lot of people doing that, like, that seems to be the
Yeah,
trend, like, if you're not on the show anymore, you're kinda ruining chances of you ever being on the show,
yeah,
ever, and I'm shocked Danielle did that because what else does she really have? Not to be mean, but
yeah.
just being honest.
Mhm.
I feel like she was so happy when she got on the show again.
She was, and I feel like she brought, like, a different vibe to the show.
I know, and I wonder if she's mad at herself because Teresa was, like, letting her back into her life, and then she definitely, like, burned that bridge.
Mhm.
Like,
Also,
I don't think she
I feel like she was kind of iced out. I mean, she did do the hair pull to Margaret, which isn't allowed and not good.
yeah.
But I feel like when Teresa had that phone call at the Jersey Shore in the
Mhm.
finale, I felt like maybe it could have been a little forced.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's not Teresa to just like one thing and then just call her and be like, we're not friends anymore.
I was, like, surprised too when we saw that footage that Teresa did say, "Yeah, go pull her hair."
Yeah.
I was a little surprised because I could see, like I don't even feel like a producer would say that, and I could see her being like, "Yeah, go dump the water on her maybe," but, like, I was shocked by the hair pulling, and Danielle should have put 2 and 2 together, though, like, if you put hands on each other, that's you endangering yourself for not being asked back on the show.
Yeah. And then, I mean, Ashley did it to her and she started a whole thing. So now it's like you're
Mhm.
doing it to someone else. Like,
Remember
come
when she
on.
brought that mannequin at the reunion? She's like,
Yeah.
"This is how the hair was pulled." I'm like, "Oh, please." Yeah, that was crazy back then. But we're gonna see, speaking of, like, mild violence, we're gonna see Jennifer and Danielle Cabral get into it, and we
Yeah.
have heard that they were, like, suspended from filming for a little bit during that.
Yeah. For like a few days.
Yeah, which that's crazy. I feel like that's more like Jennifer can, like, maybe be, like, a pusher and poke, but Danielle seems like she's more, like, explosive, like, could cause, like, more of the physical fight.
Yeah. Definitely.
Which is scary, like, we don't want any of these people to put hands on each other, and sometimes I don't even need the fighting, like, I like to watch all these people just have fun. I'm sad we're not seeing the cast trip because the house burnt down the day before. Is that
Yeah.
so weird?
It was so weird. When I heard that, I was like, oh my God, it must be like, a bad omen or something.
Yeah, like a sign, that's what I said. I was like, I wonder if Melissa and Teresa were like, "Maybe this is like a sign we're not supposed to be in the same house filming together."
Hmm.
That was weird. It was sad they didn't just, like, find somewhere else for them to go, though.
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why the Berkshires was their first choice. Like,
Don't
why
you
didn't they
feel
go
like
out of the country?
they don't get, like I mean, they did go to Ireland last season, but besides
Yeah.
that, like, they don't get, like, crazy trips like all the other ladies. Like, they go to the Jersey Shore and stay in their own houses.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why. It's not like they don't have the budget. I mean, the ratings were amazing by the end of the season.
Mhm.
So it's like it's not like they don't have the budget to go on these luxury cast trips.
Right,
I
I
just
know
don't
because we see what
understand
they're
like
doing
why.
for Ultimate Girls Trip,
Yeah.
and then what they pay all of them, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to do that, like, a week in a
Yeah.
nice vacation and make $250,000, that'd be great.
Yeah. That would
I'll fight with
dream.
somebody. I know. I know, but I'm wondering if we're going to see that Ultimate Girls Trip with Caroline Manzo.
Probably not.
I
I feel
know.
like it's like over. I mean, it's been over a year since they filmed it. And then all of this stuff happening and all these allegations and all these things coming out. Like, yeah, definitely not.
I know, and I'm sad because I was hoping we would, like, see an appearance from her one day on Jersey again.
Oh yeah, that's probably not happening either.
I know, because 'cause I'm like, "Alright, we're getting her on Ultimate Girls Trip. Maybe she'll inch her way back for, like, a dinner with, like, Dolores, and they'll
Yeah,
talk," but, yeah, definitely not anymore.
yeah. I mean, it definitely would have been interesting, but yeah, definitely not.
I know. Well, we'll keep hoping and praying for
Hmm.
some of the old people to come back. Like, what do you remember, like, the season with the twins and, like, Amber? Everyone's always like, "That was such an awful season," and it wasn't, like, my favorite, but I liked the twins. I thought they were fun. I thought Reno was fun.
Yeah, I didn't think it was so bad. I mean, like all the drama and entertainment was there. Maybe
Mhm.
they just didn't like, I don't know, the vibe. But
I
I
don't
thought it was a
remember.
pretty good season. I don't think it's such a bad season like everyone makes it to be like. I mean, I feel like some of these recent Housewives seasons are far worse.
I know, I know. Like, Orange County, it was losing me for a while, and then when
Hmm.
Vicky was inching back in, and then they got
Yeah.
Tamara back. I'm like, "Oh, let's bring Vicky back." And then we got the whole Alexis Bellino thing happening.
Yeah, I'm excited to see her.
I know, that's crazy though. What do you think about that? Like, that's a little weird.
Um, yeah, I mean, I like her, but I didn't watch so many O seasons with her on. Maybe like one or two. So I don't really know so much about Alexis, but I like seeing like old faces on
Mhm.
the Housewives now. I feel like
I
it just
just
makes it
think
more interesting.
even though she was never on the show with Shannon, Orange County
Hmm.
is small too. I feel like it's just weird that John Jansen wants to date Alexis Bellino. It's like, are you
Yeah,
kinda, like, chasing, like, just Real Housewives of Orange County ladies? Because that's kinda weird, and that
yeah,
was a lot of the divide of why Tamra isn't with them anymore, because she was kind of not fully taking Shannon's side, almost
hmm,
being like a Switzerland, and Vicky's like, "No, I'm gonna take my girl's side, I'm ride or die."
yeah. I'm definitely intrigued to see how that plays out.
I know, and Vicky said she wouldn't come back on the show unless she was full-time, but I feel like we're gonna have to get her a little bit with all this
Yeah,
Alexis
I
stuff.
think someone said that she's filming a bit, so I'm happy about that.
Ugh, I mean, give her her orange back.
Yeah,
Like, I don't mind Emily and Gina, but, like, if I had to pick them over Vicky, it's like, "No, let's get Vicky, let's not
yeah.
get them."
No, I totally agree with you.
And I hope we don't lose Heather Dubrow since she's moving.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not like such a big fan of her. I like her, but I feel like
Yeah.
when she came back, like everyone thought it was going to be like something like I don't know, amazing, and it was like it was okay.
I just like to see her lavish lifestyle, because at the end
Yeah,
of the day, that's why I'm like, no offense to Gina, but I'm like, I'd rather see Heather's house than your house.
yeah, yeah,
That's the fun part of always seeing all these people. I'm excited to see I hope we see Joe and Melissa's house more this season. We see, like, their little housewarming, the lemon party, because I
yeah.
know they moved in, like, officially in the fall. So I don't know if we'll see them in their house fully. It'll be like them moving and transitioning into the house.
Hmm. I mean, I feel like they moved in like they were there for like a year. I
Yeah.
think. I mean, I'm not 100% sure. I could be, you
'Cause
know.
I know, like, so we'll see them, like, down the beach, so we know down the shore, so we know they started in the summer, and then, like, I know they officially moved in, like, September.
Hmm.
So we'll probably see, like, a decent amount in their new house,
Yeah,
but it does look gorgeous.
it does.
I like it a little better than the old house because or, like, even Teresa's new house, it's like because that, like, style was going out of date. So I feel like
Hmm.
they're all in, like, updated houses, and I guess we're gonna
Yeah,
see Dolores and Paulie move in together.
yeah, yeah. And his house is amazing. So
I know, and then so I wonder what they're doing with her original house she had with Frank because she was totally renovating it last season, and now I heard Frank and Brittany are buying a house together.
yeah, I think they're building or something, something like that.
Yeah, so I wonder what's gonna happen with that house. I wonder if, like, their son's gonna live there and maybe their daughter, like, I'm not sure
Yeah, I don't know.
because I
It's a
know
good question.
he was, like, making the kitchen bigger and all that, like, really doing the whole thing.
Yeah,
At least he won't be living with David anymore.
yeah. That was a funny living situation.
I know. I was like, "Oh, that's a little weird." I never liked him for Dolores. Paulie fits much better, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Paulie is like amazing. I got the pleasure of meeting him a couple times, and he is awesome.
Yeah, and he treats her well, and I'm hoping we do see an engagement soon. I was shocked to see Frank and Brittany got engaged before Dolores and Paulie.
Yeah, me too. But
I
I
mean,
feel like they're not in that much of a rush right now. I feel like they said that somewhere,
yeah, and
so that could be it.
it may be because Brittany's younger,
Mm-hmm.
so maybe that's because I believe this will be her first marriage, so I feel like maybe it's more like she wants to definitely get married, have a whole wedding.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll see that wedding on TV.
Yeah. Hopefully.
When I listened to a podcast, he said they would wanna get married in, like, Florida.
Hmm.
So that'll be interesting. I
Yeah.
wonder, like, if so they'll probably have a big wedding since it's her first, but I wonder, like, whenever Paulie and Dolores decide to tie the knot, if it'll be, like, a big wedding or something more small.
Yeah, and also I wonder if it will be in like Ireland because I feel like majority of his family is there.
Yeah, I could see them doing like a 2 type wedding, like they'll do one
Mm-hmm.
over there and then do one here,
Yeah.
which is understandable. I know. Well, at least we'll see like some maybe news. We see them touch on it, her talking to her mom. I feel like again, they're maybe like making it a little more dramatic. Like
Yeah.
makes it seem like if you don't propose, I'm gonna break up. And she used to kind of be like that with David, but then we saw her still move in anyway without the ring.
Yeah.
So I think she's getting more away from that. Like maybe it's just like it is what it is and we're happy.
Yeah. I feel like maybe, I guess maybe for them, like they're thinking like if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of
Yeah.
thing, maybe.
Yeah. I know, and it's like when you're older, it's understandable if you don't wanna do like, we saw Teresa have the big second wedding, and she wanted that, and obviously Louis wanted that too, so that's fine, but, like, if one person doesn't want it, then it's kinda hard to force the other person to have, like, a big to-do.
Mm-hmm.
That wedding looked fun, and
Yeah.
the hair, how'd you feel about that wedding hair?
I didn't have a problem with it. I feel like it was so Teresa and so Jersey. I'm like, she's like the only one that could pull it off.
I know, she
And I
did
think
pull
she
it off.
rocked it.
It was funny hearing Jennifer, she's like, "Oh, wow."
Yeah.
She's like, "The higher the hair, the closer to God." She's like, "Teresa's right in heaven."
Yeah.
I hope we see more of, like, her one daughter, Olivia.
Yeah.
She's the funny one. She's like a Melania, I feel like.
Yeah.
And all their kids are getting older, and then I like her and Bill together. I'm glad they moved past all their issues that they had on the show. So sometimes we can see it doesn't break you. It makes you
Yeah.
stronger. We saw them go to therapy, and it seems like they're in a better place. So maybe it was better that it came out and they had to deal with it.
Yeah. And I'm so happy. And I think Bill's a great guy. So I'm really happy
Yeah,
for them.
he seems really nice, and sometimes we can take, like, them being more standoffish as them being unhappy with their life, but it's more I feel like sometimes the men don't wanna be on TV.
Yeah. I feel like that's like sometimes the problem, what maybe with casting, the husbands don't want to be on TV.
Yes,
And I know it is hard to cast in Jersey.
I know, and imagine I love watching those old casting tapes, like Teresa
Mm-hmm.
talking and stuff, and yeah, it's just as time goes on, it's has to be difficult to find people because it's like they're almost gonna come on the show and, like, act sometimes.
Yeah.
Or, like,
Yeah.
fake it a little bit to be on the show.
Yeah, and speaking of the casting tapes, I would love to see like all the current Housewives casting tapes. We did see Teresa's when Andy had that little special, but I would love to see like everyone else's. I feel like that would be like so cool.
I know, and it's funny because Dolores was on the show before.
Yeah,
Like, in the old season, she would be, like, around for their filmings, and she said that she was asked, like, for season 1, but she said no.
yeah. And I think she said maybe Danielle took her spot.
Yeah, which is crazy. Just imagine if we never got that, but then imagine if they never went back to getting Dolores, we wouldn't have our Dolo.
Yeah,
So I'm glad she got a second
me
chance.
too. Me too.
'Cause I think it's good to have her since she's known Teresa for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna close out with the best question. If you were on The Real Housewives, what would your tagline be?
I bring the glamour to the table, but not the drama.
Oh, I like that one.
Thank you.
I'll follow it up with one more. Where could you see yourself, like, on? Do you think The Real Housewives of New Jersey?
Um, Maybe, but I feel like I would love to be on like Beverly Hills or New York because I like like city life and like fast paced lifestyle. Even though I do live in New Jersey,
Yeah.
I feel like I could see myself in New York City or like Los Angeles one day, or
Oh,
maybe
nice.
even Miami because I love Miami. Like the Miami house, I'm like obsessed.
I know, they look fun. Well, thank you so much, and tell everyone where they can find you.
You guys could find me at RHONJ obsessed on Instagram and Twitter at RHONJ underscore obsessed.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank
This
you
was
so
so
much for
much
having me.
fun. Of course. You'll have to come back and we'll have to talk all about when The Housewives premieres on May 5th.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
All right, bye guys. Thank you for having me.